Chances are you know someone, perhaps you yourself now wears a hearing device, and there are so many different ways that you can choose the one that is right for you. Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg joins us this morning. She has Ahlberg Audiology up in Cleveland, and she wanted to kind of give some feedback this morning about some things that she's hearing about feedback when it comes to those hearing devices. So good to see you, Tiffany.
Thank you. Good to see you too, Julie.
Am I right that there are lots of different ways people are purchasing, and sometimes they're coming to you to get them, sometimes they're choosing to buy them over the counter, and sometimes that can create a little bit of a need that you can fill?
Right. It is, now there's so many different hearing devices. It becomes so confusing. You open any magazine these days and it's like, okay, here's a hearing device. You see commercials on TV. Most of those devices, because OTC is really not readily available now, most of the devices that you see in magazines are still amplifiers. So they're not... OTC is going to have a completely different type of strategy, but the amplifiers that are available now are basically just a quick fit and then have a volume control. So there's no fitting measurements that an audiologist is doing or a hearing aid dispenser is doing to make sure that those are fit for someone's ear or their hearing. They're just a general amplifier.
Right.
So when people make it into my office with something that they bought at just like a general store or a magazine, most of the time they're complaining about whistling or feedback in their ear. So I don't see the people who might be successful with something like that. I just see a lot of people who aren't successful with that. And the most common reason is they hear everything, and that's what an amplifier does. You hear everything. So it's going to be great for situations like maybe you're just wanting the TV to be a little louder. That's fine. You can put that in and make the TV a little louder. You get a Cracker Barrel and it's going to make everything louder. So that's, there's the cheap hearing aids, and then there's hearing aids that you get from an audiologist or hearing aid dispenser that are fit for your hearing loss, they're fit for your ear, and they're going to help you manage hearing and background noise. But most of the time people are complaining of whistling. So again, a regular hearing aid that you get from a professional is measured and fit for your hearing, and we run a feedback test or a feedback cancellation. What is feedback? Feedback is when the microphone of the hearing device is re-amplifying the sound that is coming out of the speaker receiver. So think of it just like a speaker in your church or auditorium. If someone's holding a microphone, if that person put that microphone up against the speaker, you get feedback. And so a hearing aid is a very, very tiny version of that. So you have the sound coming out, you have the sound coming in, they're so close to one another that calibration is very, very important of that person's ear canal size and just the physical formation of their ear, so that we cannot have that nowadays. So if you get a hearing device from a professional, you're not going to get feedback unless it's in your hand and you do this, because it's not calibrated to be in your hand, it's calibrated to be in your ear. So this type of thing is normal. In your ear is not normal.
That's got to be a frustrating thing for you as an audiologist, because obviously what you want optimally is the best hearing for your patients. But if you've bought one of these and it's not working, and you're getting that feedback and you don't hear this message from you, I guess people might think, well, I give up, because if this affordable option for me is doing this, if I spend more money, I may still have the same problem, when in fact that's not the case.
No, it's not. And I would hate for anybody to think that. I'm sure that those devices have a place, and I think they're more meant for people with very extremely mild hearing losses, just to give them an extra boost. But sometimes people with more significant hearing losses are trying to use those devices, and that is not who it's meant for. There's OTC medicine and there's prescription medicine, and you don't go with a serious health condition and buy an aspirin and think it's going to fix the problem.
Right.
You might have to, and it's the same concept with hearing.
So if this happens and people are listening to you today and they say, okay, this sounds like me, I better make an appointment, do you want them to bring whatever hearing device they are using into the appointment with you so that you can kind of assess it and make your best determination?
Definitely, because sometimes it could be as simple as, if that person does have a blockage in their ear, then that can cause feedback too. So if there's a way that we can fix that to make that work for that person, definitely bring it in. We'll do everything we can to help you with it.
And you also were, I'm going to let the audience know this, you were a little bit careful in how you wanted to present this. You have a couple of minutes left, because you realize that there is an expense here, and you don't ever want anyone to feel bad about their own decision of what they choose if that's what they can afford. That's not what you're wanting to do, is to ask people to spend more money. You just want them to get what they need.
Right. I mean, it is. It's a hard decision. And so many times I hear people say, well, I'm just going to get something out of the magazine. And that's fine. I see it not work for people. And again, there may be people out there that it's working for. It's just that I see a lot of people that it doesn't work for. And so it's scary to me for someone to spend, because even those aren't cheap. I mean,
right.
And you kind of get what you pay for. I mean, it's, right. If you spend $100 on something, you can't expect it to do a whole lot. And so they are expensive. And so, but a lot of times people have coverage with their insurance that they don't even know about. I had a guy yesterday, and he had coverage that made the hearing devices more affordable. So, sometimes there's options out there that people don't even know about, and we're here to help you with that too if you want us to check your benefits.
I know they always appreciate that heart of yours. Tiffany, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Julie. It's always a pleasure to see you and talk to you.
You can find her at Ahlberg Audiology on North Ocoee Street in Cleveland. 641-0956 is the phone number. Online, it's ahlbergaudiology.com. We're back after this.
It's Ashley's Spring Semi-Annual Sale. For